Like a phoenix from the fire. Every day I'm going higher. And we're running all the way.
Hey yo, I'm all about the crypto. In case you don't know, it's the haste of inflation, the crazy sweep on the nation. No baby, every blockchain ain't created the same, but the learning curve feels like a bullet to the brain. Let me enlighten you, let me enlighten you. React to the max and we'll turn to a fire. When you're down on your knees from the USD, we'll see you on the other side with the BTC.
It's time to rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. We're gonna rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. What's the difference between a block and a chain? What's the difference between trading and DeFi? Where did my money go? It's gone.
Welcome to the jungle, baby, you're gonna die. Protect yourself at all times. Learn to read between the lines. Educate your mind. Protect yourself at all times.
Time to rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. We're gonna rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. Protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times. It's time to rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. We're gonna rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. It's time to rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. We're gonna rise up, getting paid till we retire. It's time to rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day I'm going higher, and we're running all the way.
Hey yo, I'm all about the crypto. In case you don't know, it's the haste of inflation, the crazy sweep on the nation. No baby, every blockchain ain't created the same, but the learning curve feels like a bullet to the brain. Let me enlighten you, let me enlighten you. React to the max and we'll turn to a fire. When you're down on your knees from the USD, we'll see you on the other side with the BTC.
It's time to rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way. We're gonna rise up, like a phoenix from the fire. Every day we're going higher, and we're running all the way.
Good morning, guys. What's up? Okay, we got Coma here. We got Sterling, Sunny, Peb, Mikey. What's up, guys? Josh. I love your cape. Keep your underwear under. I'll try. No promises. Got a new song. Technically, it's an older song. This one's made by like Shim Moore and I. Like if you ever heard of Shim Moore, he's a singer for the band Sick Puppies. He's also a mindset coach and InvestiShare. But yeah, you can look it through our channel, and you can find the song there too. Keen Bean, what's up? Christian, we got Eric, Uncle. Probably get our YouTube live today. What's up, man? Anywho, Curvestar. We got a giveaway today too. Yeah. RP lad, and I'm trying to remember your name. I can't read. Is that Hindu? I'm not sure how to read that. Morning, guys. So to go over something really quick, just in case you guys are trying to get in on the opportunity, there is a short opportunity potentially here. We're out of Valley Area High, downtrending momentum. We're seeing an open interest shift, suggesting that we're having a squeeze going on here. We hit the 786 from the high to the low pull, from here to here. Got a decent rejection off of it, and we got a bearish flip, not a bearish change of character. In order for us to get the change of character, we need to take this high first. We had the proper pullback, but we didn't come up high enough to take the high to generate this as our strong low. We need to see that we have our strong low here internally, of course, to here. So we're all trading internal to the internal right now between here and here, unless we take this high, and then whatever low we have established at that time when that high is taken, that becomes our new strong low. Yesterday we had a really violent drop after we lost momentum and hit our head off that same momentum that we're fighting against right now. We had that break of structure, dropped, and then this is all within half an hour, right? So like 2 15-minute candles. That's why the structure is so internalized right now. It's because of that fast move, and we didn't have a proper pullback to take any highs or anything like that, or create a new. We never created a new low either. If we created a new low, if we came all the way down here and took this, then our strong high would rotate from here to here on the 15. And then we can maybe start seeing reversal structure down here to prepare for a bigger move. It's a bit finicky right now. I was like, we were preparing for the short in a few spots. We're looking for a rejection here off the VWAP. We got a good doji reaction, but the follow-up candle confirmed that we're going to be moving up. So it's didn't really have any structural criteria for the short that we wanted to have happen here to bring us back down to maybe sweep this low. So we end up rotating to the Valley Area High, which is an amazing spot to prepare for shorts. When it comes to structural criteria for shorts, I think the best time frame to look at was the 3-minute, right? As soon as we got and hit that 786, we had this doji engulfing candle reaction, right? And now we're down to our primary barrier for the move down, right? We came up just now and retested this neckline, but the barrier that's in our face is this POC, VWAP. We have a 5-minute and 3-minute order block, and we have our orb high. So we have like 4 forms of confluence kind of keeping us from going down right now. But if we get a close below VWAP, we pretty much simultaneously take them all out, and then we'll have an easier move down. So that's kind of the game plan for today, was just looking for that move down. And if you don't like the short, if it doesn't meet your rules, then I would recommend waiting for the long, because down here is a great spot to prepare for longs. Maybe we'll even take this extreme low at 58.42 and grab all the local liquidity and then get reversal structure shortly afterwards. This range has actually been pretty nice, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's just the timing of all the stuff that we normally look for has been really, really awkward. I'm starting to do pathing posts now. We spoke about that during the trade hunting call this morning, where if it's not something that I'm comfortable with signaling, but it's very obvious, like the path of where we're going to go, I'm going to start posting pathing posts. And they look like this. One sec here. That way you guys can get anything that might help you with your own analysis. Because yes, like yesterday, this is a pathing post, for example. But once we break this low, coming down to at least our like around 58.6, for example, and then yeah, if it's something that I might take but not comfortable signaling, then I'll do a pathing post. If this key level breaks, where will we go? Basically, is what those pathing posts will be, and what barriers you got to watch. Every single pullback that I draw with these paths are drawn with an intent, meaning I'm actually predicting that we're going to be getting a bounce from here, right? Just like here, valley area low or below. Every pullback is drawn with intent. So when I do my pathing posts, I just want you to be aware of that. Right, we're breaking below the VWAP now. Maybe we'll get acceptance into the orb. We mitigated this 5-minute order block. POC's here too. Having a giveaway for subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, anyone who's subscribed, likes the video, and types the word giveaway will be entered into the giveaway today. For not for everything, but for the $5,000 account to Klein funding. You don't like the $5,000 Klein funding? It's hard to use and working. Yeah, well, Klein funding account is really meant for people who are already trading and got their rules figured out. You don't need to rush into using it when you receive it, right? Because there's drawback rules, all that stuff. But yeah, today, we've got our $1,000 giveaway for BitsNext funds, worth of BitsNext funds for trading. We'll be doing that. We have 3 winners, $500, $300, $200. To get entered into this, we've got like all the stuff for that in the Discord. If you go to the Discord, you'll see the giveaway section. And if you don't have time to get it all set up today, then don't worry, we're doing it twice a week, every Wednesday and Friday. So there's no rush. And then $25 worth of karma tokens too today. And that one will be members only because we have bots trying to exploit it. Another 3-minute structure look. We did release a new indicator yesterday. Well, technically it's our 4th attempt releasing it. But I have read the housing rules for TradingView 5 times. So if it gets taken down, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm like, seriously. Like, I don't know what rules I'm breaking. But now I went through everything very thoroughly. And it should be good. So when you go to the Discord, whether you're a member or not, so you'll get access to it. You head to unlock indicators, and you see the Apollo strategy. You click on that. It'll bring you here. It's been 19 hours, and it's not taken down, so it's looking good so far. But yeah, I have a little instructions on how to use it, but I also have it in the course. So if you guys are struggling with how to use the indicator properly, then yeah, it's all in the course too. But this thing is amazing. It combines structural confluence of a doji and confirmation candle, VWAP, and volume to identify the basically key reversal moments off the VWAP for scalp trading. So quick in and out kind of setups. You can use it on multiple time frames. It was built for the 15-minute time frame, but it works on any, like, honestly, any time frame that's not ridiculous. Like, if you go beyond the 4-hour, then you're just, yeah, it's gonna depreciate in the results. But yeah, between the 3-minute and I'd say the hourly, it's gonna be your best spot for it. Thanks there, Poyoto. Sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm catching on to these guys. They're the ones that are complaining about getting the Klein funding account because they're not traders, they're giveaway farmers, right? I'm not sure about AAA, but I don't recognize XMT textile, whatever. He enters on other YouTube pages too, yeah. Giveaway farmers, bro. Alright, so that's honestly, when it comes to the structure of Bitcoin, that's pretty much it. We're getting close to the weekend. So volume can get a little bit weird. We're at an area of interest, a big area of interest. I'm gonna say it every single live. Below 62,500 is the best location to prepare to accumulate Bitcoin. The further down you go, obviously the better the price, but this is when we're the supply is being held, 50% supply is being held at a profit, or in a loss, sorry. Right now, if we pull up our on-chain tools here to validate that, our last report 24 hours ago was 46.65% at the price tag of 59,700. So as long as we're below 59.7, more than only 46% of the supply is being held in a profit. So we're reaching levels now for when Bitcoin was worth $16,400. That's the last time we met that criteria. So like, think about the on-chain metrics and how it's being paired with the moment we were down here. Right? 16.5 is basically where we're at in terms of on-chain metrics. And before this, right, was the COVID crash. I want to take a look at the Nupal chart to get that updated for you guys too. Where Nupal, there it is. Refresh. When this thing gets into the red zone, it's, yeah, get ready for that bottom. Right now we're at 0.10. We're awfully close. We need to get to 0 or under. And this is a metric between, like, we're basically looking at between 0 and 1, right? So we're super close. 90% of the way there, basically, if you think of it that way. We're 90% of the way to calling the bottom relative to this chart. Am I in the short? Was it taking the copy trader? I am not in this short. No. I was looking for... It was kind of mid-conversation, explaining between V... like an SFP and the liquidity sweep that we had here. No. I might be able to get into the short if it retraces back up. I was looking for the criteria of the sweep of the high, then taking the low, and then the confirming candle brought us right to the VWAP. This could have been an opportunity here for me to jump in while I was talking to you guys on this little bounce pullback, but no, I'm not in. I'm not upset that I missed it because there's tons and tons of opportunities. There's always gonna be more. I'm not a bot. Send me your money. Yeah, the bots have been discouraging because I've been thinking about what could I do to evade them. The one thing is, like, I could make it so that only members could win, like members of InvestShare, or, you know, but that just like takes away from you guys, you know. So a lot of the giveaways have been shifted over, so it's only members, like the Karma tokens and stuff. The Klein funding one is nice because there isn't really any risk to Klein funding. There's no risk to me. But it'd be nice for the people that who actually are trying to get an account, a starting account, and trade with it to receive it instead. So I don't know what these giveaway farmers are going to do with it. You can either A, just lose the account, maybe they'll try to sell the account. But let's do the giveaway while we wait for price action. Maybe we'll get a retracement so I can get an entry on maybe this order block. Internal fib. Confluence. Let's see. Maybe we'll sweep this high. Get an SFP. Alright, so let's go here. So the winner of... Let's do the $200 first. Build suspense. I don't know. Go to that. Here's grab the... Control A, Control C. Yeah, I wasn't able to do the Wednesday live, but yeah, we did the giveaway still. It was kind of balanced. We didn't have repeat winners like we did last Friday. So we'll see what happens this time. So we'll draw. So this is for the $200. worth of trading funds. You can't withdraw these funds. And just so you guys know, you have 7 days to claim it. And then after you claim it, you have 7 days to use it. Alright, so we got brr@gmail.com. Congrats, man. BRR. Got $200. Took a screenshot. $300. I think that's a UID, so I don't see, never seen that happen before where there's no actual like email attached. So I think it's only showing parts of a UID number. By the way, there's no security risk in sharing our UID. Let's go to the 500. Draw now. Nah. Okay, that's a username. Nah, bruh. Alright, cool. Alright, congrats guys. This $1,000 given away. 200, 300, 500. Remember, like, yeah, these are something that you go to your reward section inside of your BitchNext account. You claim it. I don't recommend claiming it unless you're going to start trading with it right away. Because you have 7 days to claim it, so you have a whole week. And then claim it right before you jump into your next trade. Because then you only have about a week with those funds. Which is something I learned semi-recently. When Sunny won, I think that's when I learned. Yeah, there's a bit of a time factor to it, which kind of sucks. But I guess it prevents stacking. They don't want stacking. Okay, so there's that. Congrats, guys. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin pulled back, hit the order block, downtrend momentum. Can use previous high. That's a rejection, jeez. And 2 minutes left on that 5-minute candle. Okay, we'll do a $5,000 account Klein funding giveaway. We got, let's see how many of these look like bots. These are all the people entered in the system. This is the back end of the system, by the way. Pull up the chat. So we got 81 people in. How many viewers do we got? 81. Hopefully we see a name that we recognize. And if it bot wins this, guys, I can tell by their behavior. If I'm talking to them for 3 weeks after they won, and trying to barter and sell stuff like that, I know it's just a scammer. I might change things up. I'll have to recode something. All right, let's see what we got. Let's go to draw page. pick winner. Nelson Waka 518. Congrats, man. I'm just gonna let you know, Nelson, if I think that you're a bot, I have the right to give this to someone else, okay? It might be given to a member. Support ticket. So yeah, just yeah, submit. Go to the support ticket section to claim your reward. For the Klein funding account. Nelson, copy your name. There we go. All right, and close, go back. Ah. One sec here, just grabbing the relog in for the karma giveaway. Let's reset, sync from Discord. What this button allows me to do is just like poll members only. Going to draw page. Unnamed Ghost Hunter. Congrats, man. I am familiar with you. Someone tried claiming someone's karma giveaway the other day. Didn't work out. Unnamed. We got Dennis. Congrats, man. All right, so we got $1,000 worth of BitNext funds given away. We got $5,000 prop fund account given away, and we got $25 worth of karma tokens given away. And we are, I said it before, but we're awfully close to finishing that merch store, so we'll start giving away that too. Once a week. I'll post this as an announcement post right after the live. But until then, I got some time still left, guys. If you want to go through any altcoins. Willie Nelson's a bot. Okay, then yeah. Congrats, winners. Let's take a peek at Chainlink. Chainlink is something that I just bought. I bought, well, I say I just bought it, but I'm kind of adding more to my portfolio. So back here was the last time we purchased it together as a community. We had a bow flag, and a bow flag on the bow flag. I remember I was just jumping in on it. It made my average around like $7.56. And then I sold at the market cap all-time high, around $30. My seed investment. So what I put in was taken out, and the rest of my Chainlink that's in here is just like house money. But now I'm adding that seed investment back, but I'm DCAing in this time. I'm not going, I'm basically going in on key levels. So far, I'm going to be allocating another $10,000 to Chainlink, and I put in 1,000 at $7.20. Okay, it's about 10% of my 10,000. If we have structural criteria met before I am able to maybe potentially buy at lower prices, because I think $6 is a possibility. Unless we see relative strength on Chainlink, which is definitely possible. But yeah, either A, we get it to a key level and I'm able to DCA a little bit more, or we break a key level and define the bottom, and I'll just add the rest of my funds in. So I'm kind of hopeful that maybe we do get lower prices, but at the same time, it wouldn't bother me if we just maybe swept this low and then had that bullish change of character here on the daily. Because if we get that bullish daily change of character and acceptance in this 90-day value area, at least get that rotation to potentially as high as $10 and see how we perform there for maybe a close or a continuation. Zooming in the lower time frames once I'm done deleting all this noise I just made. I gotta get better at the object tree to save you guys some time. I've been using TradingView for like 9 years now. And we have a bearish order block here. On the hourly. We could hit that and get a rejection, so just watch out for that if we do have that continuation. If you guys want a good free order block indicator, just search up multi time frame order blocks with confluence from InvestiShare. It's insanely accurate. Yeah, so this is the supply. We know it's an hourly order block as well. So this is our range against supply. You can technically pull a fixed range volume profile from like here to here. Prepare for a local rejection off of the 30-minute order block, 15-minute order block confluence at the value area high, then come back down to the value area low and target the sweep of 7056. Or if we deviate a little higher, and this is a great spot too to prepare for shorts. To look for a change of character, you're going to depend on a lower time frame though. You need like the 5-minute, 15-minute structures will get you in late or not at all right now with this range. It's too young, it's too small. Percentage wise, it's not bad. It's just we're getting a lot of volatility and illiquid moves. And so we're having large candles like bring us to the opposite side of the value area. So in order to front run that, you have to depend on lower time frames like the 5-minute. But the 5-minute has been pretty dependable on like Bitcoin and stuff, so INJ. Let's take a peek at INJ. My bit rate keeps dropping, guys. Sorry if it's a little bit laggy. I think it's the new setup that I made. INJ, I think we have an INJ chart, so I don't need to search it up like that. So we do. Last time we looked at INJ was in May 25th. What were we looking at? Go the hourly. So this is May. Yeah, we're looking for a little rejection off of that high. Yeah, over here. And we got the rejection, that we ended up using the momentum as support again. And ran up and mitigated this supply zone that we have marked, this red box. Right here. And that's what induced the bearish change of character to bring us back down. Had this like head and shoulders kind of posture. Lost the 200 and the 50 EMA. And now we're at this. We had a bounce after mitigating this demand. We didn't just bounce off the ceiling of it like we were kind of preparing for, just in case it were to come down here. We're mentally prepared for maybe a bounce off the ceiling of it, but we took the whole thing before bouncing. So now what I recommend doing is boxing this zone here. Box it properly from the high to the low. This is going to be a next area of interest if we ever come back down. Since we mitigated this demand here. It's like a 2-day range. Delete this data. Delete that. Delete this. Got momentum here. Evolving momentum. Two-hour bearish order block. With imbalance. I'm gonna go to 4 hour for a second. I got 4 hour here. This valley area here was helpful for us for a while. I'm preparing for resistance when we came back up to it over here. Resistance here, here, and here. But we have likely overlapping data now to kind of make it a redundancy. So I'm going to delete some of this noise. Sorry, there's a lot to update on this chart. Well, it's mitigated. Daily, 6 hour, 4, 3. Mitigated. 1. Send it back. Almost done. You guys have access to this chart. You just type in exclamation point charts inside the Discord. I'm just making sure that there's enough information on here for anyone who were to use the chart, they'll be able to respond to key levels I have marked. Price very low. Price POC. Price very high. A range that was 15 days before we used it as resistance. My kids are out of school now. The last day of school was yesterday. There's gonna be a lot more chaos at home. We have the supply here that's been fully mitigated. Taking out this high. We swept that high with this doji. This next candle is pretty important. We gotta close below the doji in order for it to confirm this is a potential top to bring us down. We're starting to creep up on INJ. It's got a little bit of relative strength after we had this hourly bullish change of character. And our price actually came down. Proper pullback here, took the low. Then when we took this high, that's when we had the change of character, just establishing this as our strong low. Since then, we haven't had a proper pullback, right? We did have one here, but it's internal, right? So some people may have used that internal low as their stop loss if they jumped in on this. But since then, that's all we really got. So maybe we'll find another pullback, higher high, bearish change of character after the confluence of mitigating this supply. If we keep having breaks of structure continuations, then our next area of interest for a rejection, if you're looking for a change of character for your confirmation structure, would be around $7.75 between here and I said $7. I meant $4.74, and $4.96 where that 50-day EMA is, and that previous Valerie low is. We got a bit of a regression trend here, but the bottom of that regression trend starts with the net order block. So you start here to prepare for that resistance. Zooming in on the 15-minute, we probably have more clearer structure to kind of help dictate the top. I love using the 15-minute because we have the most trade participants perform off of 15-minute confirmations than any other time frame. So here we've got an SFP already occurred after taking this high. So if we close below this low at $4.56, we'd have a bearish change of character on the 15. The pathing that I would recommend preparing for, if this were to happen, is a bounce here. So not suggesting that we'll be coming all the way back down. We have a previous Valerie high here. We've got demand in our face, demand zone here, and these wick level lows in confluence with the demand ceiling. So if we have that bearish change of character, I'm expecting that it will just induce a range up here, right? Between here and here, assuming this confirms. Otherwise, if we have that break of structure, then remember what I said before about $4.75. The 4-hour order blocks are our next area of interest to see something like this, right? Double top, break, down we go. Maybe map out this order block here. If you use order blocks in confluence with your setups. Right? So you can, if you're a one-dimensional trader, you only like doing longs, then you'd be waiting around here. If you like taking longs and shorts, then wait for... We had the SFP. The SFP is then suggesting a target of this low. If you want to jump in on the change of character, wait for the change of character, loss of momentum. And then down we go. You would immediately prepare for support as soon as we start taking the 445. Alright, so if not here on the count of close, then here. So that's objective. I hope that helps. How's Bitcoin doing? Oh, we just swept the high on Bitcoin. Nice. So we just had an SFP on the 5. Alright, cool. Mitigate this order block. Delete that noise. So yeah, this SFP suggests a move to this low. What's 15 look like though? Yeah, with 15-minute leading out of the value area, you can wait for the next candle to see if you trust it first. It did evolve our structure, so now we have our internal strong low, rotate from here to here. I'll let you guys know when I jump in. Just wait, not every SFP is equal, so just looking for structure that I trust. This has been mitigated, this order block, so we can delete that now too. This was a 12-hour order block down here, guys. So we delete this too, less noise. Yeah, local supply here. Two minutes left on this 5-minute candle. This 5-minute candle is trying to invalidate the SFP. They let you have your kids in Canada? Yeah. Our education system's starting to fall down the cliff, but yeah. I think our kids learn more. Well, at least my son Jaden learns more in the summer than he does in school. Dangerous short. Sellers beware. Can you show us your fixed range volume settings? Yeah, sure. So this guy. Row size 200. You can use 250 if you want to. You're gonna know over time, like, if 250 is too much. But yeah, 200 is usually the average. Value area volume 70. That's the default. Default's accurate. I back tested a whole bunch of different criteria between like 60 and 90 Using 90 means you'll barely have any trades. So 70 is kind of that sweet spot. So the default settings is actually good. Yeah, row size, number of rows, up, down, volume. And then color is really up to you. I have it based on psychology. So like red, value area high, prepare for shorts. Red means sell. Green, value area low, prepare for longs. Because like you want to be front running the break of the range. Longing at the bottom, not near the top. There are like confirmations. You can use value area data to help identify like when we're going to be leaving a value area. Right? But it's not always true. So it's a little bit more nerve-wracking longing at a value area high. And I have a POC blue. If you're new and you're backtesting your own rules off of value areas, I recommend turning on developing value area. It is a little line that will show you how the value area high and the value area low has changed since the start of the poll that you created. And this is how I kind of created that rule where if you have two changes of character within a value area, it becomes a mature one, because once that moment occurs, the value area doesn't really adapt or change very often after that moment, and you start to get really good refined like key levels for shorts and longs. And you can do the same thing with developing POC if you end up using POC for your trades, but I normally recommend like staying away from the POC for trading unless it's for retests, or if we have a low side or high side POC like way down on the bottom side of it, and you have a confirmation break. Let's say we have a double bottom here. We get that bullish change of character and the POC is here. And get acceptance into the value area while also breaking above the POC, then I'd usually take that every time too. Same thing if it was really high, like tight to the top side. And just like formations where you have statistical outcome, what will likely happen based on structure. Like for example, like a rising wedge. These typically break to the downside because we like take liquidity from the upside and we stack more below us. Value areas also have like statistical outcomes too based on how they're formed, right? So if you have what's called like a P frame, these normally break to the upside. You normally see these with bull flags. B frame normally break to the downside. And you have like a balanced or D frame, which is what we have right now. POC is usually around the center. And then we have like a capital B frame like this. Double distribution. Normally means we have two ranges within a range. And it tells you the story that price action will move quickly here between the butt cheeks. All right, we got a bullish order block created on the 5. Got the break of structure, kind of validated the SFP idea. Didn't really trust this, by the way, because of how the 15-minute candle performed. We came up when we swept the high, which is nice, but decent momentum. And we didn't have like a high volume when we got up here. We didn't break volume trend, showing that there could have been a large amount of sell pressure after liquidating any newly added liquidity here. So not very much seller's interest. We're still in a great position for shorts. It's a great location for shorts. We just don't have the structural evidence to trust it yet. And now we mitigated this order block down here. We have one less form of confluence opposing us if we were to short back down. We are breaking momentum. Doesn't mean we won't retrace and come back down. looking like we might get a yeah, so I was just thinking that. It's part of the lack of trust too. And it shows us that Injective's getting carried up too. Injective moves a lot with Ethereum, but Ethereum moves a lot with Bitcoin, so it has that pairing impact. If I do on trend, yeah, it's a good question, Chris. If I do on trend trades, there are usually scalps to the unclaimed highs. Like for example, this one here. They go long off of the VWAP retest POC orb high, right? After already confirming bullish when we closed here, right? It's internal, but it's still flip bullish. Came back, retested. You target the unclaimed high. So this is like, if I ever take on trend trades, it's something like this. When I usually trade the range, and I'm preparing on the extreme high and extreme lows of the range for reversals. Very transparent setup. So like would be like right here and right here, for example. Bullish change character at the value area low, bearish change character at the value area high. Take the trade to the opposite side of the value area. Here, we flip bullish. It's really, really steep. Way the heck up here, right? So you're not going to be jumping in along here unless you have a pullback. So during moments like this, then yeah, trade alongside the trend. But now we're at the area where you prepare for the reversal structure. If I pull a fit from here to here, we got like 0.5 confluence, like the equilibrium point, but not usually a key level that I would look at, like the golden pocket. But there wasn't really any confluence there. And if we came down that low, jumping in on that should be going against opposing confluence, like the VWAP and the POC. Minute was right here. This is the kind of structure that I look for here against VWAP if I were going to take a VWAP trade. This is a bearish version. So if I saw like a doji, like a red doji, then a green engulfing candle off of this, I would take it to the unclaimed high with a volume reaction. But until then, yeah. The reason why I like taking these ones the most is because of how easy they are to signal to a community of people who are just learning how to trade. That plus the reliability of it. It's insanely reliable. Just using a strong high, strong low as your stop loss. Targeting opposite side of the value area. Watching out for internal areas of interest that could oppose against you, like the POC or internal demand or supply. I find you get wrecked with quick scalps unless I'm immediately taking a short, a profit. With this environment that we're in right now, you have to escape as quickly as you've entered sometimes, like getting out with one-to-ones, and unless you have really specific structure, it's different. Like if you look at this 3 minute, for example, like this is all right in terms of structure. When we came down here, we tapped that VWAP and POC, we had a bullish change of character here internally on the 3 minute. Right? Would you want to take that trade though with it being that steep? and close to your first barrier. So if things were a little bit tighter, then yeah, I would have jumped in on that. So you want to be picky and to know exactly what you're looking for, so there's no emotion behind it. And if it runs up, it runs up. Like we know that there's a lot of confluence here that can induce a bounce. Like we posted it way before it happened that if anyone takes any shorts here, this is going to be a big area of interest for a bounce. But I like that. Yeah, I like that picture perfect stuff. Like this and this. And sometimes it happens at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're sleeping. Or at midnight when you're getting ready to bed. You don't want to jump into a trade right before you go to sleep, or else you're not going to sleep. Or have a sleeper order where you just limit exit at your 1 to 1 or 1 to 2. I think the doji example you just gave is the one I took a little while ago. Yeah. Yeah. The doji engulfing candle will either be bullish or bearish. These are great because the moment that they're created, there's a higher probability of institutional backing, right? A chance of residual buy or sell orders in them. So sell orders here, buy orders here. And an order block is created. So you have trade participants looking at that once it's created, preparing for potential reactions to then sell or buy off of them. Right? So it's another guardian for your capital as soon as the confirmation becomes a guardian for your capital. So if you have them happen on a lower time frame off of the VWAP, then they're reliable for longs and shorts. That's what the Apollo signal system that we created is based off of here. Right? So we got one right here that just happened on the 15, or this is the 5. Or this move up. It's looking for exactly that, but also with volume backing. We need to break volume trend. You guys all have access to that now. In our, we had a short at 65K too that defined our top on that. We zoom out. Right here, hit a big key area. I think it was a golden pocket or 786 as well. We shorted off that. Front ran the change of character. And they're super reliable. But they're all over the place, right? So you just gotta make sure that it's happening at a key area of interest. And not just like in the middle of a range somewhere, because you can just get slaughtered taking every single one of them. Like a deviation of value area low, and one right here. One here that brought us to here. One here, that was the top. Doji. We had a member take that. From here to here. I don't know where he had his fid pull, but golden pocket, momentum, value area high deviation, doji, engulfing. So if you guys want to look for, like one thing I tested, and I told you guys about this before, where I back tested every double bottom that I could find in Bitcoin and found layers of confluence to find out which double bottoms work out, right? Because they're all over the place, right? There's one here and then went straight down. So they're not all equal. But if they happen at a value area low and not at a point of control and deviating below value area, then it's way better. Closing, having VWAP on your side when it confirms. You can just, you know, look for a 2 candle pattern. Just stick with that. And then decide what layers of confluence do you need to see have happen on top of that. Where does it need to be in a valley area? Or do we need to hit a certain EMA when we get to it? Do we need to tap the VWAP when we get to it? Do we need to deviate away from the VWAP by a certain amount on its multiplier? Stuff like that. Find what works for you. As long as it's profitable, back test the crap out of it. Then forward test with a small amount of funds or on a demo account. And you're set. People overcomplicate trading. The risk management part is the most important part. Your setups are more clear and chilled. Issue for me is how often they come up and feel like they need a scalp in between to grow account. Yeah, so it depends on your account size too, right? So if you're trading with $100 and you're trying to grow it to something that you can live off of, it's different. If you're trading with like $50,000, you don't need as many trade opportunities to live off your setups. So I get what you're saying. The scalping journey will help you become a better trader though. And then make stuff like this easy mode. You need better patience. You took the 5-minute SFP that got invalidated. One thing you guys gotta know about my streams too is I'll verbally say I am in the trade. I'll talk about ideas of what structure indicates, right? So if we get like an SFP, SFPs will give you, a target of a strong low, for example. I don't want people entering off my words. Like Japow when he says good morning, when people just jump into a bunch of fucking longs. Or good afternoon, everyone jumps into a bunch of shorts. I'll say a bunch of stuff to educate you on probabilities, but it doesn't mean I'm jumping in on the setup. I'll verbally say I'm in the trade. And I'll say why. But this one was a trust factor for me because of how the 15 minutes posture looked. It wasn't. I'm not saying that we're not going down here, but we're lacking structure now. The good news is we have a decent pullback here. We'll take this high and establish a good key level maybe here. But we might even come up here and sweep this first. We might even come to this local supply before dropping. Your plan is to learn on a few K account, then deposit a significant amount. Yeah, you want your education in this space to be as cheap as possible. Some people will start with like their whole savings or like $50,000 or something like that, and then just blow it up trying to learn. That this is not something that you pick up in like 30 days. This is something that like you can learn everything that's required in 30 days, but then to teach yourself to behave properly is a whole other ball game. Your whole nervous system needs to be rewired. Like, everyone sees a big green candle and they think, "Oh, I gotta buy." When people who've been trading for a long time see a giant green candle, they're FOMOing out of their trades. They're freaking out to get out of their trades in those moments. So you gotta like flip your brain upside down. Is it a good idea to try the 50K challenge? Trying to build up. Yeah, like a 50K challenge that has good risk management rules, right? Where with every trade you're doing, you're either risking 0.5% or 1%. Not like a challenge that maybe suggests for you to lose 10% or something in a setup to get there fast. You want to get there slow. So if you can get there like 50K, let's say you start with $1,000, you bring yourself to 50K in like, I don't know, 100 or 150 trades, and that's like healthy in my opinion. You blown up 20K trying to learn before joining Discords. Ah, yeah. Won't lie, I've been doing this for about 45 days now, and it's definitely a struggle, but it's about the research in TA. And it's about the proper research. Like I went down so many rabbit holes and chasing so many shiny indicators. If I were to recommend like a learning schedule, so you guys aren't wasting your time, market structure first. Learn market structure. You can learn that before risk management, because like if you're at this stage and you don't know market structure, what a strong high is or a strong low is, then like risk management becomes harder to learn because you won't know where to put your stop losses. And focusing on market structure is your foundation. Candlesticks anatomy, like what is a sell shadow wick, what is a buy shadow wick, what makes a candle bullish, what makes a candle bearish. So the candle anatomy and market structure. And then you can put layers over top of this, and those layers become what kind of trader you want to be. Like, are you going to be wanting to swing trade, range trade? Are you going to want to try to find a trade every single day? Those layers are going to define what kind of trader you can become. If you're going to be trading off VWAP, you will very likely be able to get at least one trade in a day, right? If you're trading off a valley area, you might get 3 to 5 trades per week. Like looking for shorts at the valley high, valley low. You might get lucky. Like this is like honestly one day apart. If you want to trade off of on-chain analysis, you're going to get maybe 2 trades every 4 years. You know what I mean? Like there's tons and tons of different ways of trading. And some strategies talk to each other. Like Alex and Crypto and I will talk to each other all the time, because when I'm planning for a trade, it usually helps him know when to like exit his existing trades and vice versa. But yeah, we're now being at a valley area high, for example. This is when you get your short goggles on, and all we're looking for now is just we have our positioning, we just don't have our structure yet. And we're looking at the 5 minute now. We could be getting another SFP, but again, not really an SFP I would want you to take. If we're taking, let's say this SFP happened like just a little bit higher, and we swept this high simultaneously, I would take that SFP if that were to happen here. Grabbing the external liquidity, right? Seeing a higher volume, breaking the volume trend. Then I'll take it. But no matter what, whether we get the SFP or not, our key level for shorts has changed from here. This is the rotation so far, right? We got from here. Now it's to here. I would take this short if we got a close below this low. Either we get a break of structure or an SFP or not, doesn't matter. And then you can use the internal high as your stop loss. Here or here. It's up to you. The lower this, the closer to the price action the stop loss is, the more margin the more your margin is put to work, the more money you're gonna make. But sometimes having that your stop loss too tight, it will reduce your win rate, because there's a possibility that, yeah, we close below here and then we sweep the high and then we go down, and you don't want to be a part of the liquidity that's used to help drive the market the direction that you're actually predicting for it to go. So yeah, this will be close to a 1 to 3, maybe a 2.5, depending on where the candle closes. We're targeting the low of the range. All the rules that we normally would trade off of for the clairvoyant strategy would be met if we close below here, because by then we'd lose this momentum. We'd be at a very high. We have that change of character. We just target the low. The one thing that would make it better, turn it from like a B plus to maybe like an A setup, is if VWAP was like right here too, and we lost VWAP as well, because now it's going to be a part of a threat to our capital, right? Like something can induce a bounce. Maybe it gives us a head and shoulders, and we just like hit like the gold pocket, which is almost always the shoulder of a head and shoulders, and then go down. But we just basically, once we get up here, set your alarms at your value highs, your value lows, and then you don't have to look at the chart until we get there, right? You don't have to stare at it all day waiting for your rules to be met. And then once you have an established key area, you can set your alarm here. Set your alarm for when a candle closes. Once per bar close. And then wait for that alarm to go off. The better you get at trading, the more you're going to notice your key levels on the fly very easily. And the less screen time you're going to need in order to be profitable too. What was that? Someone's moving metal outside. I echo what others said, though. You have very good teaching style. Well, thanks, man. Looks like the BitsNext giveaway reward is a 50% deduction in losses and fees. You can't use it for your volume? Do I have a market structure video? Only in the course, but I can post one on YouTube too. Market structure videos are dry, really dry, but I can definitely like, yeah, add something on YouTube for you guys if you need it. Jonathan, you shorted that 200 MA tap on Solana. Oh, cool. Let's take a look at Solana. MA relative to what time frame? Sorry. I have mine synced to the daily all the time. Solana. Yeah, breached the golden pocket, 76. Use the valley area. Delete this. We had this demand zone here and regression trend here. Mitigated the demand. We bounced off of this, our previous point of control here for this range. Our active point control is here for a pull from here to here. using the mitigation of the supplies and inclusion in the pull. So our momentum. Yeah, Solana right now is also kind of an area of interest for shorts. Structure is very unique relative to Bitcoin's, but I think it's ascending regression trend, right? More like a descending broadening wedge. These tell you a story that there's like normally a lack of confidence, and then the volatility just starts to basically get louder and louder and louder. So the other name for this is like an epiphone pattern because of that, because the volume is increasing. Their technical breakout is super boring. They tend to break out of the direction of the trend that they were created in. But their technical target is usually just the high of the structure before we end up going down. So we got these wick level highs marked. In case we do get that continuation, this is going to be where you're going to be wanting to look for shorts at like $76. Our strong low, I'm on the hourly time frame, so let's rotate to the 15 for a second. Yeah, we have a good key level here. Or a change of character on Solana to flip bearish again on its trend. We have supply here that we fully mitigated. And we're right below an hourly order block that could be front ran, but we're not sweeping any like crazy key area of interest. If we close below this low, then yeah, we might flip bearish. Maybe the VWAP will catch up by then too. And yeah, nothing crazy notable for me to suggest that we're gonna be going down just yet. Either A, we break that key level, or we come up to a bigger area of interest for shorts, because right now we're kind of just taking the regression trend liquidity after mitigating the supply. So maybe we come up higher at around $75. So psychological level, we have this wick level highs here, and we have an hourly order block here. Bitcoin's awfully close to confirming this drop. I think I'm logged in, so I'm not gonna miss out on the setup. You have an order block laid out exactly where we rejected. Is that not valid? That is valid, Jason. You're 100% right. It's a 5-minute order block right here. From the low of the green candle to the high of that green candle, we have a bearish 5-minute order block. One little note about order blocks too is like when you're looking at a bearish order block, the first candle will always be green and the second candle will always be red, right? It'll engulf past it. The highest wick between the two candles is the ceiling of that order block. Some people will only mark the bodies. It's a form of refinement, right? Because they might look for something specific off of that. But a technical order block is the lowest point of the first candle to the highest point between the two candles. But again, yeah, this is refinement. Some traders will look at the equilibrium point, the center point of the order block 2. Need to see that tap before jumping into trades. Others will look at the 75% level. 20 and 80. I'm pointing that out upside down, but just saw that order block on the investor candle works like a charm. Nice. You laid it out off of 3-minute 3 candles. Yeah. Yep, 3-minute. And this, the indicator would show it like this. Shows you all the ones that have been mitigated too here. You can toggle that off, but we also had like a little bullish order block here. Probably helped induce that bounce. It's fully mitigated now. We'll see if we confirm to go down lower. The 5-minute has been really dependable in this range. I called this bottom, I called this top. A little steep here, but look for the retracement. We'll see if we get it here. We're really, really close. It'd be really annoying if we just came up, but at least we know not to short, right? It is a good time though, when you're waiting for the structure, to prepare your risk. Like get your stop loss ready on the exchange where you want to put it. You can put it behind this strong high. This is where the strong high will be, at least internally, if we close below here. Or do you want to have like an extra guardian for your capital, a little bit more breathing room? Bring it up here maybe, in case we have a double sweep. As long as the R&R is there, it's fine. And paste your stop loss in place and then prepare your risk. BitchNext has a fixed risk management system, which is pretty cool. Blowfin's got great liquidity if you want to use Blowfin. Sometimes tighter stop losses might force you into higher leverage if you're trying to use the same amount of risk every time. Let's say, for example, you're trading off like $1,000 account, trying to risk to lose like $10 at a time to gain $20 or more. And then, yeah, milestone risk management is something I usually recommend, especially to beginners, rather than compound risk management. Compound will get you your account growth faster if you have a high win rate. I'd say if like a win rate of like 55% or more, compound is your way to go. But milestone is great because you're basically just looking at, okay, let's say your account's $1,000. Once it gets to 1,100, then you would change your risk to like $11 instead of $10. 1,200, change it to $12, and so on and so forth. And just that'd be a good way to scale your account that way. Yeah, 3-minute looks like a rejection off the momentum, right? Just hitting that, coming down. 5-minute, we're close. We have a minute and 20 seconds left before this candle confirms a potential break of structure. So we need to close below $60,108.50 on the buy bit chart to confirm this change of character. If it closes stupid steep, like way down here, you can wait for the pullback and jump in on the pullback. But no matter what leverage you use on this, make sure you're risking to lose the same amount every time. There we go. We got. Can you change character now? 30 seconds left. Wait for the candle to close, because this could become an SFP. An SFP off of downturning momentum like this. It would look like a confirmation for support and target this high for potential break of structure continuation. Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. There's my alarm. Okay. So you could jump in on the change character. You can wait for a pullback. I've entered short. I'm in. I've used this high as my stop loss. I gotta notify the community that I'm in. Oh, jeez. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just typing this up for the community. I'm rushing into explaining it all. Trade summary. Okay. Target. We're targeting 58,450. Okay, all right, so I'm in a short, waiting on where we gotta babysit. We gotta babysit here at the POC, VWAP, orb high. We could get a bounce here and retrace back up. We could even get a bounce where we are now and hit this orb block and come down, right? It's part of the reason why I got my stop loss a little bit higher than just right above this wick. In case we do come up here and maybe get a sweep and return down. I got a tad bit of breathing room. We're looking for that full rotation to the upside value area, right? Just like we had here. We broke momentum. Bullish change character. Rotate to the value high. Break of momentum. Bearish change character at the value high to the value area low. Same story. Loss of momentum, bearish change character, rotate to the value area low. We are coming in on the weekend. So in about less than like 6.5 hours from now, the volume is going to get boring as fuck. So just be careful when that volume starts to get a little bit finicky. Sometimes market structural rules fall off a cliff a little bit. But yeah, might see tight consolidation is what I'm trying to say. Leading into the weekend. And sometimes it surprises us. Right here, we're just looking for that full rotation to grab liquidity down here. If you're hoping for a target extension, you're going to need very specific structural criteria. So if we get down here and we have a break of structure after taking these lows, then we might see a lower level, right? But you want to be coming down here with a mindset that you're going to be preparing to exit your trade. So bullish changes of character is your last straw telling you to get out. But you can just get out right at your 1 to 2. You don't need to like wait and see, right? Like with this one here, this was like a bearish flip, loss of momentum, loss of VWAP. This is like a wait and see kind of one, because here you see that bullish SFP, you just get right out, especially when you deviate at a lower, like a young valley area like this, you could be coming back up. You don't have to wait for the change of character. You can wait for the sweep and see how we perform at the sweep, and then just get out. Like a close below here would be like, okay, I'm staying in. A sweep below here with a wick and the candle closes above it, it could tell you, okay, there might be buyer's interest here. I'm gonna just get out and not wait around and see what happens next. All we have is like probabilities on our side to help dictate our entry and exit plan. So the more you understand those probabilities, the less emotion you can trade off of. You know, what is my TP? Slabo, my TP is 58,450. While babysitting here, being super cautious, seeing how we perform at the VWAP at 59,562. Hoping that we just close right below it so there's no motion, but just prepare that we might bounce. Maybe even retest our entry area and go down. You could be greedy. I've done this before, and I've always regretted it, other than maybe a handful of times where you see how we perform here and we see something like kind of a slight bullish reaction, like a wick or something like that, like buy shadow wick, and then get out to try to get back in to get like a compound a little bit more gains. I'll tell you, like, I don't know, after trading since 2019, I'll tell you that only a few times where I've actually was happy with the results of doing that. It's just better to just hold their trade and then use those kind of pullbacks as a tool to move your stop loss from here to the new strong high, right? So whenever you see that, just change your mindset to thinking like, oh cool, pullback. That means if I get a lower low, I get to move my stop loss sooner than I thought, right? We could pull back right now after this change of character. Immediately after, hit here, and then get a lower low, and that means you can move your stop loss from here to here. I know people that have their chest literally tightens up when they have an opposing candle. So you gotta replace that negative mindset with positive mindset. If this starts coming against us right away, it just means that you'll be able to move your stop loss sooner. As long as it's not a sweep of the high. Have you seen Dogecoin? Icon when you trade on. Oh yeah, so that comes up here on TradingView too, by the way. Are you talking about like the dog that will pop up on your screen? I think it's because like the reason why you're seeing it on BitchNext as well is because they are using TradingView's charts, right? They're some exchanges will actually even pay for like the essentials plan for each individual user, and they get like a big discount. KuCoin's not a good example of that. I remember with KuCoin, you get to five different charts and it starts deleting some of your data because they're using you, like they have you on like the cheapest plan, the free one. If I pull up Dogecoin, sometimes it'll pop up with the dog on the bottom right. Speaking of Dogecoin, how's that guy doing? I mine this token, by the way. I'm a part of the problem. Where it is right now, just for like a miner's insight, is not good for miners. This is a break-even price tag. So you create this token at this price and you sell it, you're not making any money against the cost of energy. Dogecoin's one of the most like energy efficient assets that uses script code in the entire space. Even though I'm more of a Bitcoin maxi and I'd love to mine Bitcoin instead, I'd rather mine Dogecoin to sell it to then buy Bitcoin because I'll be able to accumulate more Bitcoin that way. It creates 10,000 tokens per minute. The entire network, not me. Like, if it was me, that would be a different story. Fuck. On the past month, I made $900 off it. But now that we're down here, making nothing. When we're above like 8 cents, you're making decent money. When we're at 10 cents, you're making really good money. Zooming out. So Dogecoin right now, we got a break below a 650-day previous point of control for this range that we were in for 650 days. We used that point of control as support for quite a while. We got a good bounce off of here. Bounce off of here. We held it here for a bit. Now we're losing it. We're taking out these lows. So we're not going to have very much holding us up other than this slightly mitigated demand down here. So we could see a full rotation down to like 6 cents again, honestly. Sorry if you guys are hearing that dog in the background. I need to close the door. We got really steep momentum. So macro picture, this is the daily. This could be a good spot to prepare for a buy if you're buying this. Zooming in on the 15-minute structure, we are internal, just like on Bitcoin, between this high and this low, with the supply against us here. We swept these wick level highs. It looks like it's trying to potentially reverse. We've got divergence forming, bearish divergence between this high and this high. We don't flip bearish on the 5-minute on Dogecoin until we close below this low. Having structural gradients from Bitcoin would be really nice if you're playing on a short, right? We already have that, right? We got the bearish change of character, so it's kind of warning you that the funds might be flowing out of Bitcoin and into other assets, or staples, sorry. So the nice thing about Bitcoin is it acts like a little bit of a crystal ball for you if you're a trader of Dogecoin. Got that structural gradients already on Bitcoin, but we don't have it yet on Dogecoin. So it's kind of giving you an early warning sign that we could be rotating back down to our local lows. point of controls right out these wicks. Which is likely why we have a little bit of relative strength on Dogecoin right now. And close below here. This is the kind of pathing that I would prepare for, like a potential bounce here, and watch out here at the orb low and valley area low and momentum. Bitcoin's pulling back to the order block. Internal 0.5 level right now. Oh, I need to delete that. Gold pockets are here. Proper pullback on the 5. So if we take the low, our strong high, our internal strong high will rotate from here to whatever established high we get here. All right, just tap the 618. What indicators do I use the most? Fixed range volume profile. It shows you where 70% of the interest is in a range. The fairest value of a range is the point control. So I'm looking to short in premium zones and long and discount zones of a value area. VWAP. Think of it like it's the fairest value of the day. So it kind of talks to value area data in a sense. We have a lot of reactions off the VWAP. So you always prepare for it to act as either a bias tool or a form of support or resistance. Like this is an example of how you can use it as a bias tool, waiting for it to price action to close above it when looking for longs, and price action to be below it when looking for shorts. Trend lines, of course. Trend lines show you the pace of the buyers in an easy visual way. It also gives you an edge in understanding where orders could be in the order books, which leads me to my next indicator tool, the order books, showing you literally what people are planning with their limit orders. So that's another website you have to go through for that. There are some chart places you can go to that have it built in. Coinglass.com. If we're just talking about my short-term trading, was it staking with the copy trader? No, I thought. No, it was not. You know what? We can get in on the gold pocket for a better entry, anyways. Copy, TP, short, SL, 7,000. There. It's in now on the copy trader. Secured. Sorry, man. If I gave money to every person that asked me to send the money, I'd be in debt. Funding rate fees are kind of high, eh? Today? Oh, they're not too bad. Sorry, just getting my risk ready on. There. Had to enter it manually on BitNext and Bluefin. Alright, I'm in the short on Bluefin and BitNext right here on the copy trader. I'm in on my personal here. So copy trader got a better entry. You said in trade analysis plus giveaway. I already did the giveaway around the beginning of the stream. Let's say like 20 minutes in. Then we got into like a confirmation for a trade, so I want to take that live with you guys. Oh, sorry. Iron Savage. Hacker voice. I'm in. Yeah. What's your TP? Okay, we're good. Everyone's caught up. What's that Dogecoin looking like? What is that alarm? Yeah, Dogecoin's got some relative strength right now. Did it take that high? It did take that high. We can rotate our key level then from here to here. Not that big of a change, but Solana, same thing, a little bit of relative strength. So are we seeing other dominants go up? Yeah, other dominants is going up. So this is telling us a story that funds are flowing out of like Bitcoin and into alts right now. So alts are getting a little bit more attention. Zooming out on this chart. This is an area of interest that we were preparing for rejection off of, actually, in the macro view of things. We're at this macro value area high, and we're starting to lose that momentum. Right, so bigger picture suggests prepare for potential acceptance into the value area at about 7.97%. I close below this low here, which is at, it's all internal unfortunately, but 8.08, or is it 9? No, that's 7.93%. Sorry, I gotta change the color whenever that happens. The VWAP on the right color is orange, and if I have my key level orange too, it confuses the heck out of me. So at 7.93%, if we get a close below there, then we'd lose the 50-day EMA. We can have a rotation down to like 7.52%. So alts would bleed basically. USD dominance is SFPing awfully close to its all-time high, right? If this goes down, then it tells us the funds are flowing out of USDT and into assets like Bitcoin. And so this is one thing that's opposing against our confluence of our short right now, is the positioning of USD dominance on the daily. Locally on the 15-minute, if this goes up, then Bitcoin goes down. So we'd want to see this. We definitely want to see a close below here, or above here, sorry, 9.16. If we get that, then we get that rotation up here, and then we're preparing for a potential exit on Bitcoin for our short as we get up here. Bitcoin dominance, it's coming down. The more this goes down, the more the price goes down most of the time. We got to be cautious around this wick level low. 5.45%, 58.45%. It's very toppy kind of structure. We got, this is the hourly, so got like this head and shoulders kind of posture, taking this low, trying to see whether or not we're going to confirm the further breakdown. The extreme is like 57.34%. Yeah, good close below this, then yeah, Bitcoin dominance is going to plummet a bit. Zooming back into our setup. Okay, we need a follow-up close below here. 59.936. That will give us the first break of structure after the change of character. We retested momentum. We tested the gold pocket. We mitigated this 5-minute order block. So tons of confluence from this initial move. We're at a very high. If this were to go straight up and knock me out, I would have still taken this trade every single time. How do I mine Dogecoin with a PC? Or I use an ant miner. So it looks like a giant computer monitor. I've got 10 of them. They're not cheap. It is, by the way, my biggest regret in all of my investing career. So I'm not recommending you to do it. So what I decided to do, I thought, ooh, passive income. And I took everything out of my swing trading account and I used it to buy 10 miners. And I am making money off it, but it is peanuts compared to what I could be making if I were using those funds for trading instead. So, big regrets. Bitcoin going down fast. Your definition of fast and my definition of fast are very different. You're probably looking at the 1-minute chart. It's different mindset on that chart. What's up, Mark? How you doing, man? I'll pay attention to the entry of the copy trader here. For any members, David's call starts in 10 minutes, so I'm probably gonna jump off around that time, so I'm not doing any overlap. Getting there. Anything you guys want me to look over while we're waiting on this? Ave. Apparently it's translating to ghost. Is there a way to turn off this translating feature? It's not right now, eh? I think we have an Ave chart. Take a peek at that. Oh man, look at it go. We haven't looked at Ave in a while. I like Ave. They had their mission and their how they support Solana's network too. I wonder if they're going to use Aave. I should look this up. If they're going to use Aave as part of their, like, a backing system for the tokenization of stocks. So Aave broke this downtrending momentum that's been holding it down since $250. Right? We had a really big V-shaped recovery after, like, almost basically tapping this previous value area low from this range that we were in for 530 days. Right? Got a decent reaction off of its point of control as well. So just mark that 530 plus day previous point of control. Do the same thing here. This is kind of where Doge is on the way to. So Ave's got some relative strength against Dogecoin right now. We have a daily bullish order block here after mitigating one. Right here as resistance. Hoorah. Send it back. Daily order block. Okay, we're coming up right now to another daily order block at this previous value area high, previous point of control of 297 days. So we're at a very significant level where we should prepare for rejection. And with the behavior that we had just fucking skyrocketing like that, then we should anticipate for that imbalance to bring us back down a bit. Zooming out. We had the initial rejection off this 8-hour order block, right? And all it did is bring us down to retest this 50-day EMA and demand zone here to bring us back up. So we can delete that. We do have demand here alongside an hourly order block at the floor of that demand and a 529-day previous value high. So we have reversal structure here, and you're planning on a short on Aave or maybe an exit plan. And I want you to go into the mindset that we could find support here. And then this could induce a range here. Okay, bouncing between this 200. The main thing, a little spot that I want you to focus on is this 297-day previous point control and this 297-day previous value area low. When we get acceptance to a value area like this, we tend to behave the same way we did before in the past when we were in that value area. So this being the whole value area here. And if we go back in time and see what we were doing We're there ranging for almost 300 days. Right, this is the range I'm talking about. Ping-ponged here for a very long time. This is kind of like the equivalent of Bitcoin's 250-day range that we're in right now too. So we used it as support, right? And we fell, used the value area as resistance, and bounced between this area of interest and that point of control for a bit before losing it, and had a very strong deviation away from it. When we had that acceptance into this value area from the value area high, that's kind of what signaled us that we could fall down to the value area low. And we just had this massive V-shaped recovery and got reclaimed back inside this value area. The buyer saw that opportunity and they jumped in on it as soon as possible. So I would recommend having these key levels marked on this chart if you're a trader of Aave. 108.16, 96.44, and 82.25, and like 88.27. Those 4 levels are going to help you a lot in identifying a form of confluence while we trade inside this area. Then you just need to wait for structural agreements and any other rules that you might look for when you do your trades, like order blocks or Fibonacci or VWAP. It's the pace of our buyers. Yeah, we don't really have anything other than this low right now, and that's really steep. So we might get a higher high first on Aave. Yeah, we're on that way. And that would generate the key level on the 5-minute to rotate from here to here. I would recommend a 15-minute, but if we get it on the 5, then I would maybe take a look around and see if it meets all your rules. We have a deviation away from this momentum. Is the main reason why I would recommend waiting on the 15-minute. See if we consolidate and then come down. Aim for 88.27 again. So, yeah, looking for a bearish change of character here. And then rotate down to the previous value area high and local demand. We have a 30-minute order block here too. Bitcoin so far, so good. We just need to, we're asking for this close. Yeah. Yeah, we're asking for this close and then we'll get to that VWAP. All these assets seem to be at big stressor moments. So they're late to the fall on with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's on the edge of confirming continuation, while these are on the edge of like just building structure to confirming tops. Yeah, Dogecoin, Solana, Injective, Aave, they're all at huge stressor moments. Ethereum is kind of on the same edge as Bitcoin. Swept this recent high, preparing for a move down. Question, Kyle, are you planning intermediate TO on Bitcoin short, where the TP is marked on the goal? I'm not looking to do an early exit, but I'm aiming for here. But right here is a big area of interest I gotta watch out for. If we have like a low time frame bullish change of character here, I might get out. This is our biggest boss that keeps us from hitting this target. The VWAP, POC, or Pi. TP, sorry. Yeah, I just assumed you meant TP after I started talking there. This is the end goal. We're forced out here. It's a 1-to-1. You can go for the 1-to-2 if you'd like, but this is the end goal. Where if this is taken as like a sweep, then that's enough for me to get completely out, kind of thing. But I want you guys to know when to be reactional, so you don't just accept a loss that doesn't need to occur. This is that spot where if we get any bullish changes of character here, for example, or a red doji and then green engulfing candle, get out. All right, David's call started here, guys. So won't hurt my feelings if you leave, but yeah, David's call start. Oh, this is the Fanova side. Just head to call alerts. Click here. It'll bring you to the links to jump in on the call. He's really good at teaching you guys about mindset, teaching you about longer term trades, like swing trades. Like he's really quiet when it comes to his signals until around these kind of moments where he's like preparing for the big moves. What about at your point of interest? Stop loss moves to entry. I'm not moving my stop loss to entry until we beat the VWAP. If we beat the VWAP, then I'll move my stop loss to break even. Or maybe even the profit zone, depending on what the structure looks like. If we get this break of structure, you can maybe even move your stop loss from this high to here, because that'll be our new strong high, and at least internal strong high. But yeah, I don't want it to be in the profit zone until we beat this guy here. Notification went off for copy trade. Oh yeah, that's funny. I get an interesting sound too whenever I jump into the copy trader trade or TP's hit or something. Sorry for the jump scare. You just sold all your Aave 15 minutes ago. Might be a little bit proactive, but yeah, we're in a daily order block at a 297-day point of control. We just don't have the structural evidence yet that's going to act as resistance. But now we do have a big key level here. So if this breaks, we don't need to prepare for the structure. Got it now. Watch for a potential bounce here, and same here. That's the pathing right now for Aave. The reason why I drew this bounce here is because the momentum and the take of this low might induce a pullback. Came in late. What was your entry? I've got 2 entries. I did a personal trade and a copy trade. 60,195. So we're pretty close to entry right now. Bears change character, loss of momentum, out of value area high, golden pocket retest, off a 5-minute order block. And when this confirms the drop, I think it's going to spark the drop for all these alts too. Aave, Injective, Solana, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. They're all at stressor points. All at key levels where they would get a rejection. So kind of waiting for Bitcoin to fire them off for a drop. We can delete this. We can delete this. We can have a key level now on Chainlink too for anyone who's looking for that. $7.30. Watch for support. Oh, we got demand zone internally on Chainlink. So this will be like the equivalent to Bitcoin being at its VWAP. Just be careful. Bounce here. Likely get a bounce here. Look for a reversal here. The patient side of trading. This is why I put a little bit of small music in the background. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it, but sometimes we're just sitting here. And if you guys aren't talking, then I just feel like I'm sitting alone. Do I use the RSI in making all decisions, or is it nice to have it there type of thing? Is it nice to have it there type of thing? I like to see like where we're positioned on the RSI. Right? I'll have it like hidden down here. And right now we're at an area of balance on the RSI. We're at the 50 level. Just had some bearish divergence and I used to use it religiously and I found that it was taking more opportunities than anything. Good music. I can't hear it. I think there's a way in the settings I can set it up so I can hear it with you guys. It's that my friend Douglas made it for us. So it's all royalty free. I only make about 60 to 90 cents per live, but yeah, it's $30 a month. It adds up. Like, you never know. But if I get demonetized, it also impacts the ability for them to like share my stuff, right? Because if YouTube's not making money, then they don't want me to be like seen. They'll kind of like shadow ban you. I guess it doesn't impact their income, but yeah. Kyle, you must have a resting heart rate of a ham sandwich. What? When you jump into the same thing over and over again, you know the probability. So if I lost this trade, I know that my statistical outcome of my next trade is going to be a win. But teeter-tottering on Ave. Injective still looking strong. Jeez. Solana teeter-tottering. Dogecoin might establish a new key level if we take that high. Not much holding up Bitcoin other than this momentum line. Anything you guys want to learn about, struggling about while we're waiting? I just want to have this break of structure, so it'd be easier for you guys to, like, any beginners to handle the trade on their own from there. Beat, please. I'm assuming you don't mean the music. Let's pull up I don't think we have a beat chart. We'll go to we'll pull this up on Bybit. Okay, we looked at it on the Bybit chart before. Last time we were talking about it was a while ago. We're watching for this rotation down after breaking this key level. We did break the key level, but then, yeah, as soon as we got into this, like, internal demand, we had an engulfing candle that just screamed to get the heck out. So that didn't work out. We have 4-hour order block mitigated. We're riding against, we had a bit of support off of that 50-day EMA, but now we're riding against it, trying to see if it'll act as support again. But we have the supply barrier in conflicts with that 50-day EMA. This being the supply. It's our valley area. Momentum. Change the character key level here. So break of that change character. Prepare for a rotation back down to 160 and potential squeeze between this 250-day EMA. We got uptrending momentum here, daily order block here. So it had a really, really good run up until we had this bearish order, bearish change of character right here. Well, we swept it, then we got the change of character, sorry. Establishing this as our strong high. And down we went. So it's a pretty easy top to call, but man, was it ever steep. Like, you need to, this is the hourly time frame, guys. So between the confirmation of the break of structure, it's 96% different. That's just stupid. So high risk, this is like the definition of a super high risk, like, asset to trade, because you don't get your confirmations until you lose half the market cap. Just careful with this one. So if we close below here and we get that change of character, you simultaneously lose the 50-day EMA. Maybe even wait until the 50-day EMA kind of we close below that. It's about a 3 cents difference. Lose that momentum, and then target the value area low while watching out for the point of control. It's a sharp area of interest here, so we could see it act as support. And that's currently at the price tag of $1.7859. I hope that helps you out, man. But that's what I'm preparing for right now. We could potentially sweep the high before we call like the change of character, but zooming out on the 6 hour, like this is the picture we painted. Like we could be coming down to find support off of this demand. We're off the highs right now of that demand zone. And internally within that demand zone, we've got that daily order block that could hold us up. I'm going back to Bitcoin. What you doing, man? Still creeping. We got this body structural momentum here. Have I looked at SPCX today? No. I'm waiting a year before I even look at this thing for investing, by the way. IPOs historically have terrible first years. We always have those pump and dumps, right? They do the marketing to bring you in, and then the VCs just bush or like destroy you. So yeah, we had a top here. We have a good key level here for a potential long, so you're just trying to get in and out kind of stuff. But I can see this thing getting to around 80 bucks before actually establishing a bottom. Where are we down so far? We went down to as low as 34%, currently 30%. Yet multiple trades just like this on Bitcoin today. I think today there was only, depending when your day started, I guess, maybe 3 trade opportunities. And one of them was, and neither of them I only took the 1 of the 3. Kramer says buy. Okay, then we have to sell. Yeah. Where's my Kramer mask, Sterling? I had it beside me. I'm gonna dress up as Kramer for Halloween this year. Is the stream laggy, guys? I just got like literally 58 warnings. Oh, you traded London. Okay, I gotcha. You're in Europe. Yeah, Europe's been hogging all the good trades lately. And choppy. What's up, Alex? How you doing, man? Love you too, man. The clairvoyant strategy rules are met for a short, but it's like taking its time. Everything is overextended, and I bet they're all waiting on Bitcoin to call their tops. Everything's overextended, but Bitcoin's chopping. We got the repeat. The rules are Valerie high, lost momentum, bearish change of character, retest to 5-minute order block, golden pocket, and now we're just waiting on that break of structure for the follow through, and then we got to babysit at the VWAP, where you're probably praying for a setup. But yeah, it's been lagging. Thought it was my network. Nah, it's me, guys. It's not you. It's not you, it's me. The frame rate is down 56%. Is there something that I have in my OBS ever since changing stuff around that's causing lag, and I gotta go through it all? Taco will be live in 10 minutes. Who's Taco? Watch out for the manipulation as he's opened along. Is Taco code for Donald Trump? Carney knows there's too much alpha. Yeah, I feel like everyone on the planet was warned about the whole IPO thing, and still people fell for it though. Damien, if you're listening, Damien's one of my friends, and he's like the one that's best to ignore my advice when it comes to investing. That IPO thing was one. I was like, don't buy the IPO, bro. Just wait. I'll tell you when to buy. And he's near the top right now with everyone else. Like, Taco is Trump. Okay, cool. Oh, man. Started lagging when she mentioned Carney. Did I say Carney or Kramer? They're both bad people. I call Carney the clown. And Kramer's a scammer. My life is buffering right now. Let's look at one of my favorite charts here. And then close down some of these tabs. Maybe it'll help with the lag that everyone's experiencing. I only got about 20 tabs. And we're still riding on that EMA. This chart is what I use to help accumulate Bitcoin. To know how to help me call the bottoms. This is a box that I draw, but it's tied with Confluence, so wherever the established bottom is, usually where I stop drawing it. But the top of the box is defined by this 200 like weekly EMA. And then we just couple this information with on-chain data. Like when are we seeing the supply being held like at a loss, like majority of the supply being held at a loss? When are we capitulating on the Newport chart? We're there on the supply and profit and loss. We're not there on the Newport chart. But I'm actually expecting this chart to be front ran. We need to get to 48K to capitulate. It's not that it's impossible, but we just saw front running up here, so I'm preparing for front running down here just in case. So keep your eyes at 48K, but we might not get there. News said Iran violated the ceasefire. Well, I think everyone's got crisis fatigue with Iran. I don't know if we'll get a reaction off of that because we're just expecting it at this point. But you're right. Yeah, to tie that to news, normally news will enhance the volatility. But you want to make sure that all your rules are met. You're not just jumping on things because the news says so. A lot of news is built to manipulate. Where should I set up TP and stop loss on this short trade? I'll tell you where mine is. Mine is currently just above 60,731. My target is 58,450. My areas of interest where I need to be concerned in case something were to happen is here at this VWAP, point of control, and orb, which all kind of intersect around $59,575, right? So we're just watching out for maybe a potential bounce, maybe come back to our entry, and then come back down for like maybe a head and shoulders when we get to that confluence, or maybe we get an impulse move down. Right? If we get an impulse move down, then this is going to act like internal supply. Bounce off that, hit our head off the lows, and then go down. So no matter what, this is going to be an area where we can anticipate a potential bounce. This is like a scalp trader's territory right here, for quick in and outs. Your bot, Jason, you're targeting 48. Yeah, 48's good. 48 is when the liquidity gets cold. By zooming out here on the daily, right, we have liquidity that has stacked from this low and this low, and it's pooled all the way down to around 55K. So if we take all that and is used as entry liquidity for whales, that could establish the bottom. That could establish the floor. If we come down lower, our next area of interest will be like 52.4 kind of area, and then 48.8, where this crazy wick level low is. We will start to capitulate when we're below like 55K. Right, so a massive majority of people will be holding their relative positions at a loss, and the supply will be held at a loss too. And so currently on the daily, we're trying to attempt an SFP, but no matter what, this has evolved our key level for the daily to tell us that if this breaks, I would be calling this the bottom. If we break above this on the daily and we close above here, then I will be telling you that bottom is in. But until then, we might see a rotation of that key level, like we did from here to here. We might see it maybe come to here or here. We don't know yet. We can't predict the future, but I'll be using daily market structure to dictate the bottom before I jump in on a coin margin or inverse perpetual trade to the all-time highs again. Sorry, my computer was all weird there. Would I describe SIA as a complete poop coin or a decent poop coin? I'm about 70% down on spot since last year. Oh man. We can take a look at SIA. See how. Are you comfortable telling me your average? I thought I had a SIA chart. I was in price discovery. Yeah. I don't know its tokenomics. So I don't know if this thing is inflationary or not. I know it has a lot of pairing liquidity with Ethereum, so it moves a lot alongside Ethereum. Our daily key level is at 0.7989, which is pretty far away from us percentage-wise. 50%, that's insane. Evolving momentum broke. We still ended up getting a lower low. Supply here. Can't check now, but last you say is around 25 cents or so. Okay, that's pretty high up there. So one thing I usually tell people, if they're in a situation like you're in, where your average is super high, and you're wondering if it's possible for it to even get back to break even again, is could you recover those losses faster on a different asset? If you think that, it's assuming that this thing could even recover, and I think it could. But do you think you could recover those funds on a different asset, or put it into a safer asset to at least recover some of your losses? And for us to get from where we currently are to like around 25 cents, we need essentially 5x. And that's the kind of stuff that people kind of beg for, or 4x, sorry. People beg for those kind of returns on assets. We know Bitcoin is very, very likely going to give you a 2x, right? So you won't be able to recoup your losses on something like Bitcoin. Chainlink is something safe too, that you could go from $77 to around $30 again. What's the narrative talking about? Is the narrative focusing on SIA anymore? Not really. It might shift back, but I know, guys, this is a guarantee that the narrative is going to be focusing on RWAs in the next 3 to 6 months. And I can't use the word guarantee, but it's a guarantee. Because like we're having stocks being tokenized within the next 3 to 6 months. It's already happening now. And so you got to look at the assets that are a part of that. That whole, like, what is going to be spoken about all the time because of that tokenization. And that's why I put so much money into Chainlink. Ethereum's going to be a part of that too. But yeah, man. So percentage-wise, you probably could recoup about 40% from our current low back up, basically looking at around 7 cents, right? Maybe 9 cents if we get to that 200 EMA. That's going to be relatively easy for you to capture. So one thing that I've done before when I was underwater, and that was with Polygon. That's the last asset that I was underwater with. I would recycle my investment. So I would basically, sell at the top of value area, rebuy at the bottom of the value area, sell at the top of value area, and then that will lower your average every single time you do that if you're reinvesting the same amount of funds that you take out. See how it impacts your average until your average is low enough where you can actually potentially recoup the gains. Because the good thing about SIA is that this range is huge. It's like, if you're going just from the value area low to the value area high, it's 31%. So if you were to like sell at the value area high and then rebuy at the value area low, I would obviously recommend getting good at like maybe the clairvoyant strategy rules, like establishing when that high is confirmed through like a change of character. Could likely use the hourly time frame for this range. This is a range that's, yeah, use the hourly on this. This is a range that's been around for 140 days. You can even do it with smaller ranges too, like this one. This one's not too bad. It's an 8% range. It's not a small range. It's a pretty big range. We got demand here holding it up. Just an example. So if you ever see supply being created, like here, or demand being created, and then you start seeing us get 2 changes of character, then prepare for that to range, and then you can buy and sell just spot over and over again. Using a portion of your funds, not your whole account. Bitcoin, are you going down now, bro? There we go. We just need this to close below this wick, guys. And I know that's easier said than done. What I did with Polygon was kind of advanced. I was essentially doing this strategy, looking for bullish change of characters to enter inverse perpetual longs, and bearish change of character at value area highs for inverse perpetual shorts. So I was risking to lose more Polygon to gain Polygon. And I was able to reduce my average from 70 cents down to like 35 cents until eventually I sold it at a small profit after reducing my average that way. And it was a lot more work than something like selling it and then putting it into another asset, that's for sure. Because if you sell it and then you put it into another asset, there's tax benefits behind that. You can claim it as a loss, a capital loss. But don't do things just to claim there's a loss, though. Many lessons learned with the poop coin spot bags, yeah. When you're in them, you get out them just as quickly as you get in them. You entered at 60,056 and your 100x leverage. Are you cooked? Will you get liquidated at a 1% deviation? You should be fine, man. I'm in 20x right now. If you're on a 100x on like a meme coin, then yeah, you're cooked. Shouldn't be touching that leverage on a meme coin. You can lose more than your stop loss on a meme coin. You're holding Ondo at 6% down. Ondo is one of the ones that I think is going to do extremely well. They're going to be a part of the tokenization of treasuries for stocks. So I think Ondo is going to be fine. It sucks that you're 60% down. I'm waiting on a buy on Ondo. Chainlink was my priority first. And Spliff Ninny Ninty what 90? What am I reading? 57.9 57.7 next. Yeah, I'm looking at least 58.4, and then if we get body closes below here, then yeah, we can go for 57. Close to getting that break of structure, guys. You can do it. You want more soul, but no more dry powder. Well, you invested all your funds, is that what you're saying? If you are a profitable trader, don't do this unless you're a profitable trader first. You can use your Solana as collateral to earn more Solana on like platforms like Bitsnix and Blowfin, doing like inverse perpetual trades. But don't do it unless you're profitable first. That's a good way of accumulating for free. And how it looks on your, like, when you're as a purchase, whenever you win a trade, you log it as a purchase of that would cost you nothing but the fees of entering the trade itself. And then you'll see how that impacts your average. Because that's the kind of format they're going to ask for when it comes to taxes, because inverse perpetual makes things very convoluted for taxes. You end up having to sit there and teach your CPA how to do your stuff. Once you're committed, you can't get out without losing. I get what you mean by that. I've held to a loss when I shouldn't have a couple times. You're about 80% down on an ENA bag that got shilled by one of the big crypto channels. Oh yeah. Ugh. It's easy to just take someone's word for it. It's hard to do your own due diligence. When Aave short? Let's pull up Aave again. It keeps creeping up higher. I'd say keep it to the same key level. We did have a proper pullback here to define this as a new key level. But when you have wick level lows that low, like close to you, we're still in an uptrend. Our momentum has shifted on this thing since we got this break of structure here. So we're at an area of interest for shorts. We don't have any structural agreements at all for shorts on Aave. It is still saying long on this thing. As Bitcoin gets these tiny little bumps up, Aave and all these other assets are kind of soaring. So others' dominance is going up today. Getting ready for a big correction on them. It does feel like a big bull trap for a lot of these alts. It's a good idea to short Solana. Solana's key level right now is way lower, at least on the 15-minute, at $70.31 for acceptance into this valley area for a rotation down. Like 64.07. It's making its way up to an hourly order block at around $74.25. If you go to a lower time frame like the 5-minute, we're internal on the 5. Really internal. So SFPs is like the Solana's favorite thing ever. Like if you're an SFP trader, you should be watching Solana's chart every single day. So if we end up coming up here and we sweep this high, then our key level is going to rotate from here to here, right? So you can get in on the sweep. It would be much better if we had the confluence of this order block on that sweep, but we're not going to get there on something like that. And then this, if you take the sweep, then you're going in with the intent of preparing to potentially exit at 72.01. If we close below 72.01, then that tells you can hold your trade longer. And then you're getting in with the intent to potentially exit at this value area high at $70.97 in hopes that we get a continuation. We have demand here, awfully large area of interest. So watch the floor of that demand as we grab liquidity from below it. But yeah, any shorts for pathing, it would look something like this. Solana's a little bit tricky today. Maybe get a break from here. But that acceptance in that value area is really what's going to give you a massive target extension. And lose this momentum. But I think we're very likely to get a bounce off of that demand first. Maybe get a lower high, but yeah, still get a bounce and then see a lower continuation. So first watch for the SFP. It'll evolve structure. Otherwise, if we don't get the SFP, then our key level is still technically down here for shorts, like a bigger short. As a newbie, the big channels are just so dangerous. Yeah. When I first started trading, I was following Crypto, Crypto Zombie, Carl to the Moon, Crypto Oracle, all the people that are just, they format everything to get you liquidated and make them a ton of money. So I get it. I was there too. It's kind of like the origin story of every trader in the crypto space. Some of their stuff is good, though, like, just make sure you're not taking action when they're taking action. Just, it might be okay for confluence. I know I sound hypocritical when I say that, when I just jump into a short, and you guys probably followed me. Just make sure they're explaining their why. Like, why are they getting in? Instead of just having an open mouth thumbnail because of a certain price tag. If you guys want to push down on Bitcoin, this is the secret. Go to your emote section. You click on the magnet tool. One of the strongest indicators in this space right here. You get this out. The more people that have this on their charts, the bigger the impact. One of the crypto channels you follow kept shouting altcoin season, then disappeared when we entered the bear market. Yeah, you became profitable after finding Alex, and then you, and there's one or two others that I watch to learn Elliott waves. Oh, Elliott waves are fun. Yeah. Elliott waves in combination with supply and demand. You'll do all right. Just make sure that you're waiting for structural conflicts in those supply and demands, and you'll do fine. Use the hammer as well, please. What? I haven't used that one yet. Where would you find that thing? Here we are. There you go. That's funny. My OCD. There we go. Oh wait. Oh man, it's not gonna. Alright, that's fine. What's the most accurate strategy? I can tell you my most accurate strategy is the clairvoyant strategy that we use. But I can't tell you what the most accurate strategy in the world is. If I've known that, I'll be using it. But I can tell you, based on backtesting results and stuff like that, the clairvoyant strategy is maybe the most money. But yeah, there's a bunch of them out there because it's a combination of opportunity, risk management, and yeah, opportunity, risk reward. Like, what's the average net R&R will that strategy give you? How many opportunities are you getting? More power. Yeah. Did I look at B&B today? I was literally just thinking about looking at B&B like 5 minutes ago. Ooh. We're at a really significant level. I got a few charts on B&B. So we had this SFP on B&B. It was bullish. The follow-up candle makes it more significant. If we have a daily candle close above this wick, then we can see a rotation back up to this bearish order block here. One sec here. Got a lot of noise on this chart, I'm sorry. I can pull up I got a less noisy chart. I watch B&B a lot to see how it interacts with Karma's pairing liquidity. Because it is a part of Karma's pairing liquidity, I'm sorry. So I'm looking for double bottoming structure at $521.80. Maybe as low as 500, which is this wick level low and a psychological level. So this is the more macro look of stuff, but I'm looking for, yeah, bull market kind of criteria here, because it's also going to impact Karma's price. Last time B&B was at 1,375. It brought Karma up to like 16 cents. So I'm keeping a really close eye on it, especially now that we have an automated market maker for Karma. We zoom in on the lower time frames. Got this descending double bottom so far. It's kind of ugly, but we get the bullish change of character if we close above this high. Enter momentum. Downturning momentum here. So I think, yeah, B&B could come up. We're fighting against the supply zone right now. If we close above that, see rotation back up to its point control at $602.80. This is a macro point of control, like 826 day plus. We got supply here too to watch out for. So initially you prepare for potential rejection here. We got this little dude here. But this is the big area of resistance here. I'm kind of hopeful that we creep down around to like $521 and then have a really good structural positioning for a massive long. And I'm saying like bull market criteria kind of long, or at least a rotation to $721 again. From here to here. Magnet's working, guys. Getting there. We must have a buy wall here that we're mitigating. When did we enter? We entered at around 60,200. My entry on it, my exact entry is 60,200 on the dot. You're not in a trade, but wish you guys some extra P&L. Thanks, man. By the way, guys, my 100x trade is literally $20 US dollar, 20 USD. And I made an oopsie when entering, but hey, I'm not down. Well, as long as you're not down, I guess. If you missed the entry, you had 3 chances. Yeah. Two criterias, 3 chances. Yeah. The invalidation point being here. Confirmation of the change of character here. Pull back golden pocket here. And then if you're looking between the confirmation of the change of character, we've been riding here for a decade in crypto time. Hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, in crypto time, that's like close to 10 years. Need more magnets. Gold is giving you a short over the weekend, but you don't like holding gold over the weekend. That's a really, yeah, smart call, man. Tokenized version gives you weird spikes. Yeah, because there's no volume coming from the stock market. It's all pure. Like the price aggregator is trying to like sync with an unmoving asset, and then, yeah. So it's smart not to take a gold trade leading into the weekend. Or silver. Let's keep your distance. We can look at gold though if you want. We can prepare you for a Monday setup. Yeah, gold's in supply. We were preparing for this bounce here at this valley area low. And we got it. We broke through this point of control after like hitting our head off this supply zone here. Now we like almost fully mitigated it. Your top signal is 100%, man. You're on point there. We got this pullback here, higher high, while being in supply. And had a bearish change of character about 16 minutes ago. This is a confirming candle. So if you got that itch, like you want to jump in on it, but you know you shouldn't, because we know what's going to happen over the weekend. It's just going to do this. A weird little whipsaws here and there. Just wait for it to come down. And maybe bounce over the weekend. And maybe on Monday you can get a potential setup. I don't know. Monday's actually, if you're looking at on the chart in the 15 minutes, quite far away. It's way over here. So maybe we consolidate in supply and then come down. We just have this newly created demand here. So you can go for the scalp down to the demand zone and that'll be it. That'll be over. Quick in and out. Nothing crazy. If the R&R is there. When we broke this momentum, reached the valley area low, had a bullish change of character. It was warning us that we could have a full rotation back up to its valley area high. So it's kind of on that path, potentially to 4,200 again. And that valley area comes from this range here. Point control and the valley area high and the valley area low has helped us a lot with potential setups. Making lots of liquidity above our heads. Yeah, when in doubt, people are jumping in the shorts. The downside to that, it gives like market makers an exit plan if they're holding any longs. So they can induce breaks. We don't have to go after it right away, but yeah, 55 million. Some of them jumped in before we did. Way too soon, actually. But liquidity started pooling since this moment right here. We took a lot of those people out. $33 million was taken from the SFP. And we're starting to stack actually more liquidity below us than it's above us. At least in an isolated zone, like we have at 59,588. 59,588. Where are we? It's about here. There's $55 million in liquidity from people jumping into longs right now. Probably from this SFP. We look at the timing of it. No, well, some of it from the SFP, but most from high leveraged long traders from this bounce. Really high leveraged long traders. Yeah, 100x leverage. So $55 million worth of 100x leverage traders here in longs. We're just riding this momentum. Gotta get below. You're in the red. Why'd you jump in? Shame. I blame you. Day drinking is fun. Okay. How? Yeah. Clear mind for trading too, guys. Yeah. You should. One thing you could back test too is how good of a trader are you? I guess you can only forward test this. Like how's your win rate impacted when you get less sleep, or when you're drinking, or if you're stoned? I promise you, your win rate will be higher if you if you got a good clear mind. I'm not emotional. What do you mean? Yeah. You usually leave a cookie for Bitcoin at your target when you go to sleep. 80% hit rate. Alright, let's pull out the cookies then. Where's our cookies at? We'll make a cookie magnet. A hybrid. Bring this to front. There we go. Can you go over the on-chain data once? Yeah, we can go through the basic stuff you want. Spoke about it a little bit already. The Nupal chart here. It's like net unrealized profits and losses. So think a bit like when people are jumping into positions, like how much are they in a gain or how much are they in a loss. And right now we are getting close to capitulation. So we want this chart kind of gauges between like 0 and 1. When we're below 0, we're in the negatives, and that's when a majority of traders and holders are holding at a loss. And we're very close to that on this chart. We're 90% of the way there. So we're at 0.106. And that's at the price tag of 59,700. I expect for us to be in capitulation around 55 to 48K. We do not have to get there, right? But it has called the bottom for us every single cycle. Okay, and then we have supply and the profit and loss, similar to the Nupal chart. This shows you like how much the Bitcoin supply when bought, like actual ownership of the asset, how much of it's bought is being held in a profit, how much is being held in a loss. And right now, over only 46% of the supply is being held in a profit. When we get to 50% or less, it has called the bottom for us every single cycle. And that price tag's around, like once we get around like 62.5K, that's when we start seeing the supply being held in a loss, because of that crazy range that we had back here Zooming out. This is when a majority of people were bought. Like over 50% of supply was bought from here up, which is just insane to me. But right, so people will start dollar cost averaging because of that. All that fun stuff. Go back to Bitcoin in the lower time frame. Just let's see it here. So we're getting there. The only thing that we're lacking really to call the bottom for me is the structural evidence of this being the bottom. And we're going to use the daily time frame for that. So a daily bullish change of character. And we're right now that's at 64K. Maybe a little higher. 1 second. Oh, 67K, sorry. We might get a lower level, but that's it right now. Starting to break this internal momentum. This SFP's technical target is here. Should I go all in? No, man. No. 0.5% to 1% is usually what I recommend. Just sticking with the same thing consistently over and over again. You want to walk as a trader, not run. If you run, you trip, you fall, you smash your face on the cement. If you ever find you're about to make a decision because of emotion, just sit on your hands. Don't even take the trade. If you want to help, like a good practice to help with emotions too is not just good risk management, because you're not going to have very much emotion in your trades. If you lose, I want you to feel nothing, right? If you win, I want you to feel nothing, and have all your rules on a piece of paper, check box, and list format, so you can just check them off with a dry erase marker when all your rules are met. And if they're not all met, then don't take the trade. Even if you know it's going to go up or go down, you feel it in your heart that it's going to go up or down, don't take the trade unless all your rules are met. And then you can take it. And on that piece of paper, you can also write down, like, what is the percentage statistical odds for your back testing for it to win when you follow them all. Because if you're not checking every single box, then you don't have those statistical odds anymore. You're just going in on emotion. You keep 8% of your capital in your spot account so you can't full port. That's good. That's a good plan. What's up, Lauren? How you doing? Earlier you opened this trade and I got stopped out and I saw the channel talking again. Revenge trade sent me revenge trade bait sent from God. That's funny. I'm not a fan of this consolidation, I'll tell you that though. Normally when you jump into your trade, you don't want just your rules to be met. You want the market to agree right away. The more it ranges, the more it turns into a coin toss. Avenge trade, that's better. Get your Avengers outfit. You be Iron Man. I got a Captain America shield in here to protect your stop loss. Oh, man. Well, guys, I'm getting hungry. I haven't ate yet today. All I've had is like half a glass of apple juice. Super healthy. So I'm going to take a break. Reach out to me in the Discord if you need help with anything. Lauren, you're doing great. Didn't take a signal trade this week. Feels like you're missing out. Yeah, this week was actually, you know, it was easy mode. not to make you feel bad for taking a week off, but yeah, this past week has been pretty easy for trading. The confirmations were simple. I guess it depends on your trading strategy. Like for some people, your rules might not have been met. I'm glad you got a break off. Relax your mind a bit. Alright, guys. Yeah, I gotta go. So far, so good on this trade setup. I don't like the behavior of this at all, but as long as it gets down, hits our target, we're fine, I guess. Because this kind of behavior, by the way, like, can stack liquidity above us. But percentage-wise, like, people are gonna have to use insanely high leverage in order for us to, like, worry about something like that. So, I'm keeping the breathing room on my stop loss until we break below the VWAP. The VWAP and the POC and this orb high is our first boss, our main boss right now. So when we get that break of structure, we come down here, expect a bounce. The good news about this, we're probably going to get a volatile drop when this breaks, right? Which will give us transparent, easy to identify supply right here. So this, if it gives us a bounce, will likely perform a rejection off these lows. And then if we get acceptance below that point of control, then we're pretty much going right to our target. Our target, just to remind everyone, not to remove the magnet on you, 58,450. It's based on the extreme wick level low. We may have to get out early at the value area low if we have a bullish, opposing change of character. Because at this moment, this is when I'm back into being bull mode again, looking for longs. We just need the structural evidence for a long, just like we got here for a long, just like we got here for a short with that bearish change of character, just like we got here when we took this original short. So if we have a bullish change of character here, even if it doesn't reach our target, listen to the market and I'll be getting out. All right, I'll tell you guys in the Discord when I'm leaving. All right, if you have any questions, need help with anything, reach out to me in the Discord. Congrats to anyone who's profitable so far if they followed along with me. I'll see you guys on Monday. I hope you have a great weekend. Congrats to the winners today of today's giveaway. We got $1,000 through BitNex to 3 winners, and we got $5,000 to a lucky commenter on Klein Funding, and we got $25 worth of karma tokens to a member. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'll get that magnet back on there for you, Thomas. See ya.
Rise up like a phoenix from the fire. Every day I'm going higher, and we'll ride it all the way.
Hey yo, I'm all about the crypto. case you don't know, it's the haste of inflation, the crazy sweep on the nation. No baby, every black shade ain't created the same, but the learning curve feels like a bullet to the brain. Let me enlighten ya, let me enlighten ya. React to the max, and we're